One, two, yeah.
This is another one.
Hello. Hello, welcome. So, thank you all for being here on this meeting for the Agricultural Action Group of the EuroGEO. I'm Stelios Kotsopoulos. I will be the moderator of this session and also for tomorrow with the presentations. My intention it was to have a more cozy meeting because we are a few persons, less than 20. So I was preferred something more family oriented, but they informed me that we have some people participating through Zoom. So in order to be easily to listen to us, we need to use our microphones. So I will have one microphone for me and also one microphone that it will go through you when someone wants to speak, suggest, or propose something. This is an open discussion. We will discuss about this year's topic for the Agricultural Action Group. It will focus on the use of Earth observation, of course, for the agricultural project, but we will examine and see the strategies that they are actually help to build the post-project sustainability and how this could actually diffuse in the society and increase the impact of these projects. It will be an open brainstorming session. So I will waiting to hear your opinion on this topic and to keep some very good, let's say, notes in order to include it on the report that we have to deliver on Wednesday to the JRC. So first of all, let's start with a tour de table. As I told you, I'm Stelios Kotsopoulos. I'm the chairman for this year and of the Agricultural Action Group. My everyday work, I'm the R&D director of AgroApps PC. AgroApps is a company that is offering digital farming services by using Earth observation data and also agronomical models. And we are based in Thessaloniki, Greece. And my background is agricultural engineer with postgraduate studies on Earth observation and numerical modeling. So.
Hello, my name is Xanthoulerini Pantazi. I'm assistant professor at the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki at the Laboratory of Agricultural Engineering. My background is agricultural engineering with postgraduate studies into data mining in biosystems engineering area. And my field covers all types of automation and AI technologies based embedded into precision agriculture.
And is one of the presenters tomorrow. She will present the Earth observation aspects for soil health, and it will present the results from a project that coordinating by this specific, the Laboratory of Agricultural Engineering. So please, Anna.
Good morning. I am Ana Osan from Spain, a double affiliation, University of Castilla-La Mancha and the private company Agrisat Iberia. And actually, I mean, this double affiliation fits in perfectly here because I've been coordinating EU-funded projects for ages. And then we were always at the end, well, users interested in the services we develop. So how can we continue getting them? And that's why almost 10 years ago, we created the company, which is made for commercializing and bringing to the market the development made at the university. But the company also now has its own EU-funded projects. So last year we had 8, this year we have 7. So it's actually half of our revenue coming from the project and the other half coming from real clients. And yes, well, maybe agriculture, water, and more recently also the nexus between water, energy, agriculture, well, it's called food and ecosystems. So it's a more integrated view of everything, how each sector influences the other. And tools, Earth observation, sensors, models, you name it. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mark Noord of HEP International, based in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. I work on geodata for agriculture, water, environment, and climate. As an independent consultant, what I try to do is connect the providers and the users and promote innovations that work. Currently, I'm working in Africa on a project that stimulates the use of in situ observations, where we are developing services for agricultural insurance, hydropower, dam reservoir management, and flood early warning. In Australia on water productivity, and I will work in Colombia on combination of SAR and optical imagery for sugarcane. And I also support the Dutch government in the implementation of a program for with satellite information for smallholder farmers in Africa and Asia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Dominik Weckmüller from the Joint Research Center of the European Commission in Ispra, so not too far from here. And I'm working for the Knowledge Center on Earth Observation. So we're sitting somewhere between the triangle of Copernicus services, of policymakers, and of research projects. We try to make sense of it and bring everything together. So if you want to find out more about it, just pop by our e-poster presentation very soon.
Thank you, Dominic.
Good morning. I'm sorry. I'm Jesus Ortuño. I'm a geographer. I work at GMB. We are based in Spain. For the past years, I've been working in resilient cities, and also for the past 6 years, I've been co-coordinating or helping the coordination of Agriculture's project that focus on services of Earth observation and remote sensing for agriculture in Africa. And well, sorry for.
And you are one of the presenters tomorrow, that you will present how Earth observation is helping the sustainable development in the global south.
Thank you, Stelios.
Thank you, Jesus. Please.
Hello, my name is Simon Simeonidis. I'm from Enora Innovation Greece. I am AI and data scientist. We're working on satellite images about urban streams in One Aqua Health EU program. And we are focused on specific Earth observation images about urban streams.
Thank you, Simos.
Good morning. My name is Marie-Françoise Voidreau. I work with the Open Geospatial Consortium, OGC, that is a not-for-profit well-known for the standards like WMS, CSW, or KML. And I'm a Europe director with the innovation program where we build solutions. It's our research laboratory where we build solutions enabled by standards. So in Europe, very much being involved in European projects, and in the rest of the world on challenges defined by sponsors, and we build the projects.
Thank you, Marie.
Hello, I'm Lionel Ménard. I'm from Mines Paris PSL University. So I'm not related to agriculture. My field of expertise is energy, solar energy, as well as computer science. I'm a computer scientist by intuition. I was part of the eShape project as a project management team. And within eShape, we have had a lot of pilots, among them 3 or 4 for agriculture. And I'm mostly interested in here as a follow-up to eShape regarding the EuroGEO landscape to see how the action group are basically getting together, how they organize, and what is basically is their framework and some basically way to scale up this action group activity just as a whole, not especially to agriculture, but as a whole. So I'm really keen to hear from you.
And also we had a very interesting discussion yesterday night. So thank you, Lionel.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Caterina Barrasso. I'm a postdoc from Dresden University. And since I have a background in crop science, since 1 year, I'm now working on this project where we are trying to basically map wild arable plant species that are disappearing from agriculture with drones. So I'm using AI and trying to basically help this type of monitoring via drones.
Thank you, Katerina. Just give me the,
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm Sergio Cinirella from the National Research Council of Italy. I'm not really an expert in agriculture, but I'm here because we are writing the proposal on the agriculture partnership. As an outcome of Era Planet, I'm data scientist. So as an outcome of Era Planet and merging with the agriculture food project, we are writing this new partnership proposal. So I'm here to learn something from you.
Thank you, Sergio.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Federico Oldani. I am a AI applied researcher at Links Foundation. That is a private research center in Turin, here in Italy. And Links Foundation, my area in Links Foundation is involved in Earth observation for many projects from different sectors. In particular, I am involved in agricultural project. Later on, I will lead the session about Earth observation for viticulture. Indeed.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tommaso Monopoli, and I also work in Links Foundation. I'm also an applied researcher in artificial intelligence, and mostly I have a background in computer vision, but I'm also working on the same project that Federico told about. And I led a task in particular in this project about Earth observation in smart agriculture, but not with satellites, but with drones.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maria Pina Castelli. I work here at EuroGEO, where I lead the group of Biosphere and Hydrosphere in the Institute for Earth Observation. And we use Earth observation with physical and machine learning model to monitor vegetation, but also the components of the water cycle. And welcome here. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for the hospitality. My name is Alexia Tsuni from National Observatory of Athens. Good morning to everyone, and good week and good month. And I'm coming also, like Lionel said, from the eShape project, where not me personally, because my expertise on the floods, but my colleagues in the Beyond Center were involved in the AgriHub, in the Res Agri pilot of eShape. So we are also interested for the workshop here because we are also leading the disasters action group. So it's good to share the expertise and the way you work and get organized. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexia.
Good morning. My name is Ifigenia Keramitsoglu. I'm a research director at the National Observatory of Athens. I have been involved in many applications of remote sensing and Earth observation. Lately, we have been collaborating with AgroApps in a project about agricultural interoperability, and this is also a keyword I would like to put on the table for today, maybe. So we are interested in developing a service with a new technology using Earth observation, and then developing dashboards, developing machine-to-machine communication so that the output of this service can be used in maybe an advisor or another bigger, let's say, service, and also to achieve interoperability. So this whole circle is something that we are interested in, and also to see how these link with each other. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Stelios. The fact that it's the third participant from Greece is coincidental purely. So I'm George Ptalieris from Enora Innovation. We are interested in the impacts of the climatic changes in different, let's say, aspects related to physical disasters. And tomorrow we are giving, as part of the Beyond coordinated discussion on the health impacts of the climatic changes. Actually, we are working on water resources, urban water resources, and the impacts of the let's say, health, environmental and human health conditions. So thank you, Stelios. There is also an interest for us regarding the production, the food production, the food cycling. What is the impact of these adverse, let's say, climatic events that we are viewing?
Thank you, George.
I am Natalia Kusul from Ukraine, from National Technical University of Ukraine, Kyiv Polytechnic Institute, and also Space Research Institute. My expertise is satellite monitoring, machine learning. I am applied mathematics by education, and my group have been participating in several international projects, starting from Sigma, then EraPlanet and eShape. And our main goal is to develop ready-to-use services based on machine learning and land cover, land use, crop classification to implement it into governmental work for decision making. In Ukraine, it is very difficult, but we are on the way. So.
Thank you, Natalia. Thank you. You have our support in Ukraine.
Definitely. Okay. I'm Katarzyna Dabrowska-Zielińska, so the longest, when you see the name, it's me. I work and I'm a head of Remote Sensing Center in Institute of Geodesy and Cartography in Warsaw, in Poland. We have been working in many international projects, including also project with South Africa and JECAM site. We have a JECAM site, so agriculture site in Poland, where we do detailed ground measurements to refer to satellite data. We have cooperation with different countries, also with Ukraine. And recently we finished the project which was smart statistics. So for statistical office, the well-being for people. I work also with water. So how much water could be spent on agriculture and irrigation, how we can protect the water from the floods that will sustain in agriculture fields and be supported for the farmers in the future. We have cooperation also with Norway from Norwegian Fund, where we develop the tools for farmers. And I'm going to present tomorrow the e-poster with this, how the system for farmers work when we deliver some the information. It concerns the grassland, but grassland is also for agriculture business and for better crop yield. So, so that's a Norwegian Fund project. Everything that concerns agriculture, we are involved in crop yields, and we are chasing end users, as everybody, I think, and so on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Katarzyna. And our last additions. Just to the table.
Hi, my name is Brooke Tapsell. I'm working with the European Commission Joint Research Centre in Ispra, and we are just here to work on gathering a lot of information to support the Geo Week in Cape Town that is happening later on. So that's me. Hello to everybody.
Thank you, Brooke.
Hello, my name is Elena Spolidaro. I'm a policy officer at the Ministry of Agriculture in the Netherlands, and I'm here to as well gather some information about these initiatives. We are working on creating, or say the project of creating a common agricultural data space. And so all these events and initiatives, of course, are very important. So I'm here to learn from all of you and hopefully to see how we can also cooperate and help.
Thank you, Rin. And the last one, Haris.
Hello, good morning, dear colleagues. I'm Haris Kondoes. I'm the National Observatory of Athens, from the National Observatory of Athens. And as a research group, the Beyond Center of Excellence, we have been participating in EuroGEO since, almost the beginning of this initiative. And in the last year, we have been part of the ESA project, and especially for the showcase one on agricultural purposes, together with key stakeholders from Greece, the insurance companies and other institutions receiving services actually through the ESA program. I'm really glad to be with you, and I look forward to participate in the discussion.
Thank you, Haris. So we finished.
Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Who is what? Who is who?
Oh, we're joining in Zoom. Like you said, there are a couple of people joining from Zoom. I don't know if you can hear me. So there. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us as well?
Yes. So as you said, there are some people joining from Zoom, and maybe we can go over the tour table also if you can, if you.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. So good morning, everyone. My name is Nuno Grosso. I work in Demos. We've been working in several projects in different areas, one of which is agriculture. In agriculture, we've been developing EO-based products, and we've also been integrating with downstream service providers, like, for instance, similar to, I would say, Agraps or Agrisata Iberia. Currently, we're now involved in a Rising Europe, H2020 project called Nextman that's currently finishing. That's developing a marketplace approach to federate service providers, EO-based service providers in agriculture. And so we have a portfolio of your services that we serve through that marketplace. And that's more the commercial perspective that I would like to bring to the table. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from Zoom? No, okay, so we have, the good thing is that we have few members from the previous Agricultural Action Group, and also in this meeting we see a new people coming here to discuss with us, to interact with us, and this is Lionel, what we discussed yesterday, to have some fresh air in the room with fresh ideas, and also to have some diverse background that it will help all of us in the discussion we have. For those that came a bit late, the topic for the today session, it will be an open brainstorming session discussing about the sustainability, the post-project sustainability of the EU Agri projects and how we can enhance and diffuse the impact of these projects to the society. So I believe that we need to start with the challenges that all we faced in the projects that we are implementing, dealing with the agricultural sector. I don't know if it is worth to focus on the data part and the scientific part, because I think that this is something that we discussed in the previous meetings so many times, but now let's see better the socio-logical aspects of this, on how we are communicating this information, how the users are interacting with this information, and at the end, which are the barriers that they do not allow them easily to adopt the solutions that we are developing based on Earth observation. So is there anyone that would like to start this discussion? Yes, Anna, please. No.
Now it's on, right? Okay, so what was I going to say? Jumping right in, my experience is that the sooner we co-create with future users or current users, the better can be the transition into a post-project phase. If we involve them from the beginning, so they will feel, well, their input, their needs, their requirements get into the project, and then they also will feel empowered and feel like co-owners of any data, technology, whatever happens. And then they will be happy to, and we have experienced it in many cases, happy to, well, to keep using it, pay for it after the projects end, and tell their neighbors and friends about it.
Thank you, Anna. Mark, I think that you are the most appropriate person to discuss the situation on, not with the European users, but also with the users in other parts of the world.
Well, connected to that, there are two things I think that we can discuss here, and it's good to throw the challenges that I face in the group to see if we can have solution. One is the impact part and mechanisms after we end the projects. Sometimes it's very difficult to, because on the projects tomorrow as well, there will be presentations, what we are doing, but then the projects end. And then to get the information, was it a success? Was it a failure? What is happening? It's very difficult to get that kind of information if you want to promote or to filter the things. Oh, this works, but that doesn't work. And that is very important. And the second thing connected to that, but I think we will discuss it later in the week as well, but for agriculture, that is also a point in the framework of GEO, where we want to share these experiences in the current structure with the European context of projects that we have. It's very difficult to translate those into activities in the geo style, because there, of course, you have geoglam, etc., but it's at a high level. And what we are doing directly for farmers doesn't really fit in. So yeah, the other challenge for me is to find a way to use geo also as a knowledge exchange mechanism. And those are the things I face. So I just put it in the group. Hopefully, yeah, we will have some insights in that. Thank you, Stelios.
Thank you, Mark, for your wisdom. Jesus, do you want something to say about your experience working with the African farmers, policymakers, and organizations?
Well, I don't have like a absolute, but I have some hypotheses that I can probably share, and then we'll see if I'm right or wrong. But the thing is, I see that one of the special needs that we face is the capacity building aspect, of course. And for that, I'm thinking always on how we can face the challenge of not creating more disparities with that, because when we build a capacity, we always can make us. How can I say? How can I put this? Because I'm thinking I'm brainstorming as I was requested, but there is a situation in which we can find that we capacitate, or we give, or the people or the companies or entities that are more keen to use this technological or this innovative aspect of it, they use it. Well, I'm thinking they use it like. So, I mean, how can I put this? Well, I probably have to think more about this and then come later with a better affirmation. But what I mean is, in the capacity building aspect, the challenges are there, and we are missing the how to reach the people that actually need it. They are facing other challenges more probably bigger than the ones on the technological aspect, and how we match these two challenges that we are addressing. I don't know if I could at the end save my hypothesis, but that's what I try to build here.
Thank you, Jesus.
Well, I think that to develop Earth observation applications, we need data, and we are on good track now. We have data. It was not the case in the 70s. We still have new data, but this is on track. People know how to produce data, and we have big data providers. Then technologies, and here we have made a lot of progress with the cloud platforms and so on. And we need science. We have always had scientists. And then we need skills. And I think we have to put a lot of effort on skills because everything is going so fast. So tomorrow I will present 2 posters, one on the lessons learned from eShape, because I agree with Mark that each project have interesting lessons learned. And the problem is how to share and capitalize all this knowledge that comes from all these European projects that are all very good. When you deepen some of them, they're all super interesting. And I will present another one on how to develop interoperability data skills for SMEs. It's the This for SME project. And in Geo, I try to push the move from data sharing to open knowledge. So it's how to share knowledge, because we have to mainstream that. We will always have some pioneers that go faster, can do everything, some super good geeks who can communicate, develop, do everything. But we have to mainstream, because there is so much to do with Earth observation in all domains that we have to help this development of knowledge and skills. And we have a lot of material. We just have to see how to put that on tracks too, I think.
Yeah, if I may follow up on this. So I think that there's 2 things that may be of interest. Whatever is basically the science which is behind. So we have the chance in eShape to experiment 2 things that were new to us. Bring sustainability pathway at the very beginning of the project. So trying to think, when you start, what is the sustainable, basically, support you may get, whether in eShape we have pilot that went explicitly want to go market, where some were seeking for funding, some diverse type of sustainability. So bring this very upfront And there's been some work that you may find still on the eShape website about some of our colleague partners from Evenflow, who has bring some methodology supports, basically bringing you to the sustainability pathway. And the other thing that's been mentioned is co-design. So you have the chance to develop a co-design methodology. It is available as well on the Geo Knowledge Hub. So you have a package basically to understand co-design, which has been brought specifically for Earth observation applications. So by the start, it was new. Those guys were specialists in co-design, but they are foster the EO domain, and they are bringing some very interesting, again, support in order to start with co-design, with some methodology, some pathway, some let's say different type of co-design, whether you're starting from scratch or you have already implemented some activity and you want basically to keep on working on this co-creation, such as you mentioned, bringing the user really in by design into the process. So go ahead.
Just to complete what Lionel says, that this methodology has been applied for the 37 pilots of eShape. So it's really usable for diverse pilots, and it's validated somehow. I think it's very important to mention that.
Aris?
Thank you. I mean, I wanted only to add on what Marie-Françoise and Lionel said, because I mean, the eShape has been a very key project. And I think it's one of the projects having a very essential outcome. I'm in this, research area, in acting in research projects and for research and innovation actions, etc., for years. I have to tell you that EuroGEO initiative, and I was telling this again yesterday in every similar meeting, the EuroGEO initiative is the only one that tries to build sustainability for the services and for the pilots that have been developed. The keywords presented before by Marie-Françoise about data, about skills and co-design and co-creation process, they were key issues which have been developed in the framework of eShape. Dear colleagues, I do believe that if we want to have a prosperous future for all of us, researchers, companies, service providers, etc., it's the time to build on this heritage and make the real push towards the development of services and the development of the market in the area. It's not possible that we continue spending public money. We spend a lot, either for the development of research or for the development of pilot services. I mean, I'm already many years into this subject. I know how much public money has been spent into this. It's the time that whatever has been developed in the framework of EuroGEO, if it is mature enough to be sustained, also by public money, but also money coming from the private sector. It's the time that we create the right service contracts with the private sector, not to leave it behind, not to forget what has been developed. It's time that the private sector is pushing towards that. And for the ones that are not that mature and we still need to build skills and research, of course, we need some more public investment into that. But please, let's show to the public domain and or to the ones that are giving to us this money for all these years, that it's now the time that the money has been used. All the investments in Copernicus, etc., are there available for the development of businesses. It's not that we can continue spending public money. Thank you.
Thank you, Harris. Anyone else? Someone from the VTGEOs to share your experience working with your pilot users?
I can bring two experiences, one in VTGEOs and before in Visca, that are two agricultural projects for viticulture. As is my experience, the problem here is the quality of the services, is the scalability of the services that the project developed, because several times we work with the end user for 3 years, getting their data and develop and shape the particular service for them. But then it's difficult to to sell basically the service to other viticulturists. And this is because there's another problem, as is my experience, that is that every wine growers has its own experience, its own ideas. It is not a common way to grow the wine grapes, but there's many ways. So it's not always possible to generalize a service that is good for everyone, but it depends on the wine growers, on the techniques that they use. So this is the two main key points that I can bring. So the objective should be to develop some services that can be scalable easily, but also convince the wine growers to adopt a common way to practice their job. Is not how can I say, it's not easy because the agriculture sector is not growing at the same pace of intelligence services and artificial intelligence. So it's this is the challenge, is to convince them to use the services and to convince them to the goodness of the services. And this is not always possible in just 3 years of project to show the goodness of the advantages of the service that we develop.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I want to put on the table another keywords, that is policy. Because one of the outcome of this group could be a support to policymakers. What I can see in GEO is that every group in its maturation phase should bring something like a flagship. GeoGlam is an example. Other flagship are well advanced, but this is really a challenge to provide services to policymakers, services and tool, of course. We have to keep in mind this big challenge. I think this is a big challenge.
Thank you very much. And as we are talking about policy making.
Indeed, thank you. So I was thinking, especially in these two contributions, but not only, one of the topics that we are discussing mostly at the Ministry of Agriculture in the Netherlands is indeed the difficulty to convince local farmers to embrace the challenge and so to use the digital technology. And one of the biggest challenges is trust. So the uncertainty of what will happen with all this knowledge, who will have access and how it will be used. So this is something that it's a matter of communication, indeed. So it is incredible if you have projects and pilots that can bring great results, but if then you cannot implement it locally, then the experience can go lost, or in any case, not used as it could. So this is a big challenge. And then another one also, a little closer to the penultimate contribution, the fact that many farmers think that technologies might not give them the freedom to use their knowledge. Agriculture is very based on experience and knowledge that maybe came from previous members of the family and so on. And so the idea of being
locked in. So usually to be locked in is used in the sense of not being able to port data from one service provider to another, but it's also not being able to adapt and to make my own choices. And so the fear of lose power. So I think it would be good in, as the to think among the challenging this of trust and trying to communicate on the local level to farmers that there is a way for them to be empowered from the use of these technologies. So at least this, from my experience, is one of the topics that comes most.
Thank you.
Well, yes, I would like to support what you have said, because I worked before for more than 30 years with the French Weather Service, and forecasters are also experts. So when you work with experts and you want to change the way they work, because an expertise is something you cannot learn at university. It's something, okay, you have a base, a scientific base you have learned at university, but then you learn by yourself with the experience, and you build your own way of working, or you get it from your family, as you say. And in this case, the co-design is really critical. If you want them to embrace the new tools you bring, first, you need to co-design to build the trust, as you say. I think it's a very important word. Also because you learn from the experts. They know the job better than you do. So you have to be very respectful and listen to make sure that the tools you do can support and embrace their way of working, because you cannot, you don't have to destroy their approach. And we have seen that in the past in other domains where people impose a way of assessing for wine, for instance. I have some examples in mind, but so you need to respect because you learn from the others. This is the participatory science where everyone can bring science, contribute to science. And then you have to build a trust for them to even only accept to test the new tools you bring and to change the way they have to work into their daily work. So this is very important. So the co-design is critical.
Anyone else? Something to, yeah.
Everyone has talked about the big data and the high availability on big data we have, but apart from co-designing and being friendly to the farmers and to persuade them to adopt these old technologies and bringing all these technologies to their environment and to their level, but it is very crucial for us to keep the sustainability, not only in terms of energy making and resources spending. It is about the availability of data and the sustainability of data and how sustainable this data is. From my part, as a data analyst, the main challenge is to keep all this data and all these findings that we have made from previous projects, to use them as knowledge, a previous knowledge, and to give it one to another so as to capitalize it more. How are we going to capitalize this knowledge? And so as to keep us sustainable from the data processing part. All this big data can be a very valuable resource in terms of data sustainability in order to build more sustainable applications. So I think it is very important to discuss how all this data processing is going to be more valuable in order to produce valuable recommendations to the farmers or the agricultural sector in general.
Thank you, Rini. Yes, please.
So is it me? Yes. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah. Okay.
Do you have something?
Yes, I do. So it's very interesting. It's been very interesting inputs that we got so far in the meeting, and I wanted to a bit add on that and give it a bit. I'm always trying to come back to the commercial perspective of it, and with that, I have to say, like one of the most successful sectors in bringing EO into the business is agriculture. So our baseline is already very good, I think, in relation to other sectors where this is more incipient, I would say. But of course, there's always ways to improve, and we got very good inputs here in the meeting, and many people already talked about the ways to improve co-design and to develop this co-ownership. And I have two experiences more from projects, and one that's currently just starting, but where we not only want to co-design with those farmers, but also to make them indeed co-owners of whatever is being developed. That's KLG data. It's a Horizon Europe project that's starting now. So in the first year, it's 4 years, and it's to bring in situ sensor data into the development of your products, because François mentioned that data, we have it covered. We do technologically wise, but we're always eager to improve on your products with more data, and especially local data, heterogeneous data that sometimes, most times, don't get to be included or involved in the development of this yield product. And so in KLG data, we're trying to develop ways to do that and to make the farmers that produce that data part of the value chain. So they are part of the business model. They provide their data to improve these yield products, and therefore they should be part of their business, this business model that we are creating with those yield products, with these optimized yield products. So that's one way I see that to involve users besides the ones that we already discussed on co-design. And then the other experience that I have is with Nextland. And Nextland, because I think there's a lot of years and a lot of public money, as I mentioned, involved in this, in the development of this agriculture's EO-based services and this downstream services. I think we're now at a level where we can go for this marketplace approach, where we try to federate, and also because the EO sector is a sector that's much more prone to developments from the academia, and so therefore more heterogeneous. And to federate those potential service providers, future service providers, the marketplace approach seems like a very good one. So we're not betting on a full vertical integration coming from the EO up to the downstream service providers. We are much more in this midstream approach, where we are suppliers to the downstream. We basically give them choice, so that companies involved in the consultancy services in agriculture or others can plug into whatever service provider they want. So this is what we're trying to develop with Nextland, to give our perspective. Thanks.
Thank you, Nuno. Thank you. Let's say a perspective from other type of projects and from other sectors.
Stelios, I was a bit reluctant. I don't want to jump in and
worries.
the discussion. But based on what you already said, I think there are paradigms from other applications, especially regarding sustainability aspects. I would agree with all of you. And I would say that the basic results is the knowledge generated in the projects. Having experienced from how the collaborative research project works, as soon as a partnership is formed, it seems like the project is working in a silo. And you go to because you have a specific developer, a specific engineer, specific scientist. These are the people in the field or the participating end users, even the end users. They want to influence. They own the thing, and that's the truth. But as soon as the project is finished, then another project starts, and they start behaving in the same way. I'm not a sociology expert here, but you get the picture. Again, a new silo. So we are solving the same problem again and again. A new mobile app that is doing this thing, a different observation, or a different AI using specific, let's say, imagery, let's say AO imagery. So this is number one challenge. I'm not here to offer any suggest solutions, but I think let's agree on the challenge. So how do you get over the silo? I think the term data spaces that is being used in the health domain extensively, still without encouraging results, but at least they are trying to build. It shows us that it's a bigger problem than initially anticipated. We thought, hey, we have some great projects, great products. Why don't we enter the market and be international leaders? it seems is a bigger problem. So I would say, to summarize and stop here, but we can continue, of course, the discussion. It would be a pleasure to consider the vision of the agricultural space, the agricultural space or the agricultural data spaces, encompassing rigid results from ESAFE and other relevant projects that will achieve for us two things. The first thing is the sustainability. So when we go to a new project, we say, hey guys, go there because maybe there are some fancy results or some fancy solutions. The second thing is interoperability. Now, you talked about interoperability in many aspects, and this is something we need to embrace. I'm not talking as an engineer for interoperability in terms of data and services, but I realize there is interoperability in terms of how you educate people, how you reuse the content in different countries or in different countries, in different mentalities. Okay, so I would say, to summarize, the idea of, let's say, bringing everything into one space, addressing the challenge of interoperability, but based on specific requirements and challenges and building upon them, that would be something that is worth working on.
Thank you, George. There is actually a data space for the agriculture sector, and also there are some coordinating efforts for the interoperability in terms of technology, not in terms of education and sharing common knowledge and experiences. I don't know where it will conclude at the end and what they will deliver at the end. Because as I told you yesterday, my experience with the DIAS and how to handle the data from Copernicus and the comparison with Amazon Web Services and Google Earth Engine, although there is the willingness to bring and build something that it will be useful, but somehow seems that we are losing it in the way. But I will not make my, it's.
Because the implementation different stages, and I agree with the infrastructure is enormous. That's why the DIAS maybe had issues. But now it's a different technology. There are different technological capabilities.
I think that the part of the DIAS and also for the Earth observation, I will go back to the skills because it's the same problem that all the private companies that we are facing. We cannot find skillful people on handling geospatial data. I don't think so that this is an issue only in Greece. I think that it is a global issue. And I have seen a study that says that it will balance the demand and the offering on geospatial scientists on 2030. I'm not sure how accurate are these numbers, but please, Harris, you want something to say?
Yes, I mean, for me, I mean, the prioritization of issues is very important. I mean, we do not have to say always that, okay, we have a complex system up there with a lot of data, big data, not possible to handle all this data if the DIAS platform is good or if the next platform, the destination platform of Destination Earth initiative is going to be better or Amazon is better, etc., etc. Okay, this is of course an issue, and having skill of using all these platforms is an issue, but this is there for our benefit. And if we do not have the skills, we have to create skills because, I mean, it's now the time of the big data. And so it's up to us, all of us, all the community of this action group, scientists and private sector, etc., to find out the way to go through it, because, I mean, this is the new challenge for all of us. But is it the real problem? I mean, when we speak about sustainability, is this the main problem we have? Because for me, sustainability is something, I mean, I would see it as in a more practical way. Do we have someone who is getting into us buying our services? Do you have clients? And does your client, the need of your client, need really this big thing, DIAS, that it is not functioning that much, or Amazon, or I don't know. No, my feeling and my experience, not just feeling, but my experience after all these years is that we need to penetrate to the market. We need to create the market. It's not the technological skills missing that it is the real problem. It is that you have created a service, George, you have created a service. Us in this action group, we have created, although we are not a commercial profile partner, we are providing you, I mean, important innovation. It's you, dear colleagues, that you may take it in this action group, communicate in this action group, share knowledge between us, and each one of us with its own profile, try to get the penetration, the real penetration into the market. This is sustainability. Policy, of course. Sergio, you're right. But the policy is also influenced to the extent that we can integrate all this technology and penetrate and create benefit and create profit in the end. Because policies, of course, we know they are drafted as policies, but in the end, the policymakers also want to be, I mean, in line with what the real decisions should be and profitable decisions are going to be. And this is the market, actually. And this is not market, of course. It's research, innovation, and market. This action group has this role, actually, to bring all of us together. I'm George. If we are providing you, and we did it in the past, and I take this from this opportunity, actually, that we are providing you some innovation product. You can do it a commercial product, and you did it. I know you did it. We collaborated nicely in another domain. The same is for agriculture. We have a company which is called a big agricultural company, not Greek, actually, it's based in Greece, but it is a multinational company. It's called Corteva. Corteva is receiving from us something very simple. It's not needing big data. It's needing just one layer, bit layer of information, providing in a cell of 200 meter by 200 meter, the soil temperature. And the soil temperature on a daily basis provides the farmers, and Corteva is selling this innovative product to a big community of farmers, because as we cannot get to the market of farmers, it's the company that gets access to the market. Right? That's simple information, but this, although it looks in the eyes of scientists so simple, it's very important for the market, because the farmers know exactly the day they can sow. And if they sow 3 or 1 week earlier than the tradition of the business, their activity, their practices, they may earn much more money having the, harvesting a week before than the others. So this has become a very competitive into the market and innovative product. It is very simple. It doesn't need big data. It doesn't need Amazon or Diane services. Diane service is just needing to get the need and make the need information for the single user. And this is your role, George. This is your role, Stelios. It's not ours as researchers, but this is the right forum to discuss this.
I fully agree with you. And at this point, I would like to share our experience from the commercial side of selling Earth observation services to farmers. Also with AgriSat, we had a project back on 2016 called Apollo. It was one of the first EO1 downstream applications that they get funded. And the scope, it was to develop some commercial services for the precision farming sector. It was the initiation that actually for us to build AgriSat as a company and also our commercial product. And after 3 years, the end of the project, to start selling our services to the customers. What we realized, it was, okay, the difficult part, it was to identify the data pipelines and how these services should be made technically operational, and of course, to provide the results with a specific SLA, a service level assurance. But what we realized after the project, it was this that you, Harry, said, that at the end, okay, you develop some services that it was described in a proposal from some scientists, because we were scientists, without having any farm and without being farmers and understand their needs. And then we get to the market. And then we redesign everything, because the needs of the market, it was something different. And let's say the main barrier of getting to the market, it was to convince farmers to use such kind of services, because it was something new. There were not existing market about precision farming. There was a lot of studies saying that in the US, the precision farming market or in Australia, it was worth $2 billion, but in Europe, it was not an existing market. And we had not only us in Greece, also Agrisat in Spain, also other companies in other countries to spend a lot of money to educate farmers, to convince them to use these services, to convince them that the cost-benefit analysis shows that it is for their benefit, they will invest something, and it will take 5 or 10 times back this investment. So we had to make extensive pilot testing to convince them that if you pay for our service, for spraying, for example, to spray on a specific duration during the day and also in specific time frames, you will save the money that you will save from the pesticides. It will cover a lot the cost of the service. And this was the difficult part, because for the machinery, on the other project that we work with Iphigenia, together with the machinery, the agricultural machinery, for the users, it was something common, because we have tractors in our fields from the previous century. So for them, it's to upgrade the existing machines to provide more features. It's not like that, okay, have something. I think Irini is first, then Anna, and then Harris. It's not like having, for example, okay, you will see your field in your mobile application, and it was monitored by something that is flying over your field, but you cannot see it. It's if it does not exist, it's not something tangible for the farmer to say, okay, there is a satellite and this data, it will provide me something useful. So it took us more than 3 years after the end of the project to convince farmers that, okay, this is something useful for you. But it required a lot of work. So Irini, just open the microphone.
About all this big data situation and all this knowledge that we have gathered in order to be fed into the market. Not all of these applications that are going to be fed into the market require big data. And that is a big issue that I'm bringing into the table. And to be honest, during, for example, the feature selection Stelios has mentioned, not only a few data have proven to be valuable enough. Of course, the more you have, the best is for you to proceed from the data analysis process. But from some other projects fail to achieve the big data due to errors that are made, perhaps from the aspect of the scientists, from the aspect of the farmers that are not educated enough to make the measurements good and viable. And of course, I think that in this part, we have to interfere in order to educate more the farmer to collect in a simple and fast way the valuable data that we want, but only the valuable ones, because it is not valuable enough to have a big database with a very few data that are valuable. It is like someone can use a Vespa to go to his house, and he uses a Lamborghini for a 5-minute walk. Okay, and I think that we should pay more attention and share our knowledge and our databases from the aspect of our database that we have made from previous projects, so as to retain this sustainability, this data sustainability with each other. Because this computational time that we have to spend, it is very valuable. we could have used it for other projects, to solve other problems, to educate more the farmers, to persuade them better into incorporating all these valuable technologies into their farms. That's my thought.
Thank you, Rini.
Stelios. Well, jumping back to the market, one thing is that we need to be aware in different European countries, the markets are different, depending on the size of farms, depending on the previous education and experience of those farmers and other users. To give you an example, in my country, in Spain, in my area, which is basically Castilla-La Mancha and a little bit farther, these users have been well, actually trained and used to using EO-based information for managing the aquifer, for managing their farms for over 25 years now. And so this is a different situation than what Stelios just told you about the Project Apollo, where in Greece, for example, much smaller farms, and for the farmers, this was sort of a miracle or maybe woo-woo or maybe whatever. So it is what I'm going to say, what I would like to really make clear is it is a process. And it is a process that needs to go in parallel to these project cycles. So as I said earlier, we need in each project to start with the users at the very beginning, but also taking into account that a project is 3 or 4 years, but the process of getting the users into the habit of requesting and using EO-based data, that takes longer than the 3 or 4, and we can actually guide them. And by the way, a little parenthesis here, I don't like very much the word convincing or persuading, because actually the farmers, they are very clever people and they know what they want, they know what they need, and they know how to express it. So and it's actually a matter of educating the EO tech community, us, in what the farmers need. So it is really a mutual process, and we need to take that into account all the time, while also considering, of course, as you say, the data sustainability, which of course is important, but one thing without the other doesn't work.
I think it's for Harris. And then, okay.
Well, I wanted to connect several things which have been said before, because you were working on, you were talking about priorities. I said that the EO market needs data, science, technology, policies, and skills. These are the 5 things. In fact, we always have bottlenecks somewhere. And I say that on data, we are on good tracks. It's not really true. Well, you have bottlenecks in each of them, you know. So right now, I think that for data, the bottleneck is on in situ. This is the variety Nuno was talking about, because with satellites, we have volume, we have big data with volume. This is what the DIAs have addressed very well, pushing, enabling the capacity to process the data near the location of the data. And the DIAs have done that fine, I think. For in situ, the variety is never addressed correctly. I read recently that only 10% of the applications about machine learning really reach the market because they don't have enough ground truth. And this is also addressing the scalability you have mentioned before. Very often, if you want to be scalable, the bottleneck is on in situ, which is different or it's not here. It's also addressing the trust we need from the farmers, because the best way to, I don't think also we have to convince the farmer. You have to show him that the science you bring him is consistent with the data he has built on his expertise on since ever. So if he has some in situ he masters, some in situ long series, he has built his work on this in situ since ever, you have to show that the products you bring are consistent with the in situ he masters. I think this is the way to show him, not convince him he has to change, but show him that he can get more with the product you bring. And So just to say that I'm also involved in the in-case project, which aims at evolving the in situ component of Copernicus. We will have some colleagues from CREAF presenting this. Please pay attention to that, because I think that we have a lot of progress to do on in situ, and this is the only project I know that is focusing on in situ. And the problem is that when projects have to deal with satellite and in situ, very often they work a lot with satellites, and in situ is how we call in the meteorological community the poor parent. It's a poor parent because people don't involve so much efforts, because you have to involve a lot of efforts to address the variety for a small result in terms of volume. And so it's a little bit always disappointing, and you don't have the budgets you have in situ that you have in space components. So very often people don't deal with in situ so much, and it's right now a bottleneck for many things, for science, for adoption by users, for improvements. So please pay attention to the in situ.
So the calibration validation framework actually that we are following. Yeah.
Thank you. Maybe I don't know have something special to add. I'm completely covered with the previous talks. I mean, maybe one last word on my side is that this action group, like this one in the agriculture and in the other sectors, I mean, it was not existing. They were existing, but they were a bit silent in the past. Okay, now it's a time that we can bring into this form all these different aspects of approaching science, data, services, users, etc. I will agree with you that the farmers are very clever people. I mean, speaking now for farmers, okay, it's not like it was before. I mean, I'm coming from Greece. I know what was the level of, the farmers in the past actually in Greece, they didn't want to do anything than what they had, had as a heritage from their fathers. Nothing changing at all. But now the new farmers, the young generation of farmers, they are very clever. They want to create something which is very competitive for their market and outside the country. So it's there that we have plenty of space to go persuade, this is the right word, and indeed, I mean, make together with them all and co-create the next step, and together with them. I mentioned before a very simple example because as a scientist, I was never expecting that such a simple information is so important for the farming community. And when we started working with them, a young generation of farmers, clever ones, we realized that all us, the scientists, we think always something very big with a lot of data and intelligence between inside them, artificial intelligence techniques, etc., etc., etc. Believe me, I mean, they need something that makes their daily practice easier, and us out of this to generate our research behind, next to that, but not it is, I mean, they're very big innovations that they need. They need some simple information, and they know what they need, and they ask us to take this. Besides that, we are developing on our side big things at the same time. So sorry if I'm repeating myself anyway, but I think
mention something because you have mentioned the data spaces, and I think it's important to connect with this in situ. I think the data spaces have been pushed at the start by people providing IoT, people having sensors from cars and so on, and from tractors or whatever. And they are addressing this heterogeneity because the networks of in situ are more fragmented. So the big words of data spaces are trust, and the other one is about governance, something like it's sovereignty. Convergence. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So because it's addressing this fragmentation, and I think it's this in situ also need is now supported by this data spaces approach.
Thank you, Katarzyna. And I think that you should be the last one because I think it's 10 o'clock and soon they will throw us out from this room. I don't know if it is occupied for another session.
Okay, so
please,
short.
we have 5 minutes.
Short. Okay.
Yeah.
When you were saying about in situ, I think that it's not well taken under consideration the network of in situ data that exists in the world. That's why these JECAM sites were located, but nothing happens. I have JECAM site, but nobody wants my measurements in a organized way, I say. So to have a project with the connections of in situ data, because they are occasionally connected to this or that or whatever, but not between the countries, is not well organized. This issue is one thing. The other, what I have, it's water. Now, water for agriculture is one of the principal thing, and that also it should be kind of a project or connections with how this water should be stored. Exists Copernicus data of soil moisture, but it's not very good one, this SSM, knowing the capacity of soil. So that's how in many countries, agriculture is watered, but in many it is not, only vegetable or potatoes by McDonald's or so on, but they just give water, but they don't know how much. They just give, they irrigate, but without any knowledge how much water should be put into irrigation. They come every 2 weeks to irrigate, and that's all. But so also networking of water demand, where to take water from. It's another question of how to save precipitation, but how to save as well water from flooding, occasional flooding, to natural store it and then distribute to farmers because they need water, but it's not saving water. It's not organized well. So there are these demands that should be solved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Katarzyna. Only 1 minute.
Just two things to inform about and exchange. One is on the water use and productivity. There is one European project called WaterSense. It's a cooperation between Europe and Australia, where after 4 years, we're now selling the water productivity products to irrigation agencies, government agencies in Australia to better monitor the water use also in view of climate change. So that, I think, is a good achievement in that direction. Also there is the WAPOR database on water productivity, which can be used for different things, which is now extended worldwide. That's a cooperation between Dutch government and FAO. And the other is what I hope we will achieve on in situ observations in Africa, where we are trying to, we have those data on local weather, but now they are sold. But through the services that I just mentioned, with having the agricultural germination insurance, flood early warning, and hydropower water management, we aim to make these in situ observations for free by getting income from the services revenue so that we can make those other data freely available through GEOs. I do not know if that will work, but that is the aim, and we are in the Tembo Africa project 1 year underway to do that, where Stelios is also a partner. Thanks.
Thank you. And Lionel, you will be the last.
Yes. I was thinking that the session were ending at 10:30. No, it's only 10.
So it's the last word? No, it's not.
No. I was thinking that it was ending at 10:30. Is it the case?
No, not at 10:30. I remember it's 10:30.
Agenda is 10:30.
Okay, because I was remembering that it was 8:30 to 10, but
No,
okay.
it's at 10:30.
So we can continue the discussion. No one will.
Very good. So I have heard plenty of very interesting things in the agricultural domain. So as the time was running, I was thinking that it would be good. I don't want to take over your chair responsibility, but maybe to later have a word regarding the way forward. And I've basically take the opportunity to read the so-called EuroGEO implementation plan. So the one that basically is covering every action group under this venue. And they say that they want to focus on the so-called strategic action based on the 3C approach. Maybe you're familiar with this, so-called coordinate, combine, and cooperate. So later on, if we could have room later, basically discuss how maybe all what have been discussed previously can be basically go into a funnel for further action, making sure we are not discussing with all this basically knowledgeable people one after a year after another, just make things in between could be a very good, let's say, discussion for this group.
This is one of the goals, actually, to gather all the information from this open brainstorming, to synthesize then the outcomes of this discussion, and then to put some targets for the next year, because usually it was not something just to end about of a theoretical discussion and then to say, okay, next year let's have another topic, because also we are talking about sustainability, so let's make all the ideas and discussion that we made here to be also sustainable and lead to specific actions for the next year. And as we are talking about next year, for the past members of the group that they were on the previous year meeting, knows that we agreed to have a rotation on the chairing the group. So is there anyone volunteer for 2024? Someone? Κατραζίνα. Okay. I don't. It does not require so much effort, but for me, as a young father with one toddler and a daughter, a teenager daughter, it's very difficult to handle this. Jesus, also, are you thinking of of be one of the volunteers for chairing the action group? So, okay, let's discuss this, the past parts and those that they are coming from the agricultural sector, to see who will be. I think, Mark, that you have left this to me forever. I feel like this. Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much. All the discussions were very useful. We have kept some very good notes about what we have discussed. And tomorrow we will open the session of the presentations with the outcomes of this discussion and to finalize it. And after the presentation, to write the final one report that it is for the JRC. Thank you very much. Brooke, we have a question from you. Well, for the next step, it will be on the tomorrow session. First to gather and analyze everything that we discussed, and then to bring the strategic, let's say.
Maybe we could very large amount of people who don't have different expertise, but maybe to let's make the
let's yeah.
What do I want to better?
Some it will not be eternal, but let's first of all let's make a decoding of what we have already gathered, and then it will be something to discuss tomorrow in the session, to be more concrete and to have some suggestions based on this, and of course, who will be the next chairman. Yeah. Yes. From my side, the one is the visibility, to increase the visibility, also to increase the diversity of the participants of the Agricultural Action Group, because I don't see any farmer or someone to be a user of these services. So it's good to have members of coming from the sector, the grassroots users. And the next one, what I'm missing and what I missed the year that I was chairing this group, it was to communicate not only the visibility on GEO, but also to communicate the action group and the targets that we had to a broader audience, even from an one-page web page where it will be clear the targets, the synthesizing of the group, also the targets for the next year, and I don't know, an email with European Action Group .EuroGEO. I don't know that it will be used for all communications and either reaching new people participating and also organizations, and also to receive feedback from the people. And of course, there is always the discussion who will host such a page, who will pay for this page and all this stuff. I leave it open as an open question. Because at the end is how to do the action group sustainable. And we need to find the appropriate business model to make it also the action group sustainable. Someone to say last word? Yeah.
Thank you. I'm not sure how this worked through the year. So I understand now you are presenting, let's say, what have been done so far. Then next year there is another, or we are hoping there will be another event like this. But what happens through the year? This action group, can you perhaps maybe if I'm the only one who doesn't know it, then of course it's
It was consistent of people participating in specific projects, acting and connecting conservation with agricultural services. It was some specific members in the group. Half of them now they remain not working. They have taken work and they use their organization email. Also, in some other cases, they were coordinating a project dealing with agriculture. Now they make the sense in their career path, and they are coordinating projects having to do with urban resilience, something else. And so we bring good people to the group. And also, we had some few discussions, mainly with the European Commission, for a very board was the organizer, and on what we do topics that we need to put value and one that is sustainability and how to ensure the long-term impact of this project. It was kind of the same, we spent a lot of taxpayers' money and we have to build somehow to see how to be sustainable, but we will do this more. So for this reason, we said, okay, we will discuss each other, we'll see what will be the outcome by listening to all of you and also the presentations tomorrow. We are covering a broad spectrum of the implementation of applications in the agricultural sector. And now we need to go a step further to see how to formulate for this. And we'll do the next steps and the strategy for the next year.
So, sorry, so the next meeting, actually, it will be really about seeing how this action group will work through the year to achieve the targets that we will set out based on what we discussed today. Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's very important. It's a very valid question indeed. And I mean, sustainability of this action group and all of the other action groups of EuroGEO action groups, I mean, if we see it in the past, it actually became a reality through the eSafe project, because actually we initiated these action groups 5 years ago. In the last 4 years, it came funding through the eSafe project that the action group remained. I mean, this specific synthesis of action group, and we would like to see it enlarged and bringing new voices into the action group actually. But the reality is that the action groups remained active all these years through the funding that this community received through the eSafe program. That is the way we could sustain the action groups so far. But now we are in front of a new era, a new perspective. The perspective is to make EuroGEO in general sustainable. And sustainability of EuroGEO is all what we discussed so far about science, innovation, market penetration, sustainability of the services, but at the same time to influence policies, because, I mean, like Sergio said before, policies are, I mean, especially the European Union policies, but also national or regional policies are there to be part of the support we are expecting all this community acting into these action groups to become sustained in the future. And this is what is the next day for EuroGEO as such. The EuroGEO is building its governance for the future. And this governance for the future is going to be through a core action, which is to be undertaken through the so-called EuroGEO Secretariat, which is not yet built. But according to the, I mean, calls of the European Commission, etc., one day such a project, the EuroGEO Secretariat, is going to be built. And this is what is going to govern, or at least to support governance of the EuroGEO initiative in the future. And there, the roles of the action groups and the members of the action group towards influencing this governance scheme and the policies for the very next day for receiving additional European Union money, but also engaging stakeholders and communities and clients and users, etc., is going to be, I mean, the EuroGEO. This is what is expecting to be the EuroGEO, to be more than one project funded once by the European Union, but becoming a partnership scheme, if I may use this term. I don't know if it is the right term. I see there Nicola, and Nicola maybe knows much more about partnerships, but the partnership is what we expect to be the sustainability of all these initiatives in the future. Partnership meaning all the stakeholders around this research, innovation, business cases, and supporting the core group, the EuroGEO Secretariat, towards building policies and finding or directing funding schemes for the benefit of the community. This is, I think, the whole concept that may come to be sustainability and the reason for keeping sustainable the action groups.
Thank you. Any last word from anyone? Someone that thought to be a volunteer for the next year? Someone that changed his mind or her mind? Okay. So thank you, everyone, that you came here and we have this interesting discussion. We will compile all the results and the notes, and tomorrow we will continue with the presentation of the success stories / flagships that they are good examples of sustainability of the European projects dealing with Earth observation in agriculture. And of course, we will have the final outcome of the session. Thank you very much.